Have you ever had someone smile to your face while slowly destroying your life behind your back? Someone who pretended to care about you while secretly spreading lies to everyone you love. That was my mother-in-law, Patricia. For 2 years, she played the role of supportive family member while systematically trying to convince my husband and his entire family that I was broken, inadequate, and unworthy. And her favorite weapon was a lie she told over and over until people started to believe it. She told everyone I was infertile. The only problem with her lie, I was 3 months pregnant when she made her biggest public announcement about my supposed inability to have children. My name is Emma, and I married my husband David 3 years ago. Our relationship was everything I had ever wanted. We met in college, dated for 4 years, and got engaged on a beach at sunset, like something out of a romantic movie. David was kind, supportive, funny, and completely in love with me. His family seemed welcoming at first. His father Richard was quiet but friendly. His younger sister Jenny was excited to have a sister-in-law, and his mother Patricia was all smiles and hugs, telling me how happy she was that David had found someone so wonderful. I should have known it was too good to be true. The first red flag came during wedding planning. Patricia had opinions about everything. She did not like my dress choice. She thought my color scheme was tacky. She said my venue was too small and my menu was not impressive enough. David told me she was just excited and wanted everything to be perfect. He said to humor her a little and it would all blow over. So I compromised. I changed the colors. I upgraded the venue. I let her invite 50 extra people I had never met. I told myself it was just wedding stress, and once we were married, things would settle down. They did not settle down, they got worse. After the wedding, Patricia started dropping by our apartment unannounced. She would let herself in with the spare key David had given her for emergencies and rearrange our kitchen cabinets because she said my system made no sense. She criticized my cooking, my cleaning, my decorating choices. She made comments about my career, saying it was too demanding and I should find something that would give me more time to focus on being a good wife. David would defend me sometimes, but more often he would just say that was how his mother was, that she meant well, and I should not take it personally. The baby comments started about 6 months after the wedding. Patricia would make little remarks about when we were planning to give her grandchildren. She would talk about how David had always wanted to be a young father. She would show me pictures of David as a baby and say how much she missed having little ones around. At first it seemed like normal mother-in-law excitement about future grandchildren. David and I had talked about kids. We wanted them eventually, but we were not in a rush. We were both focused on our careers and wanted to enjoy being married for a while before adding children to the mix. But Patricia did not want to wait. The comments became more frequent and more pointed. She started asking invasive questions about our sex life, whether we were really trying, whether we had considered fertility testing. She sent me articles about women who waited too long to have children and ended up unable to conceive. She made jokes at family dinners about biological clocks ticking. David finally told her to back off, that we would have children when we were ready, and it was not her business. She cried and said she was just worried about us, that she only wanted us to be happy. David felt guilty and apologized. I felt like I was going crazy. Then about a year into our marriage, I had a miscarriage. We had not even known I was pregnant. It was very early, maybe 5 or 6 weeks. I started bleeding heavily one night, and David rushed me to the emergency room. The doctor confirmed what had happened and said it was extremely common, that it did not mean anything was wrong with me, and that we should not worry about trying again when we felt ready. It was sad and emotionally difficult, but we got through it together. We told our parents what happened because we needed support. My parents were understanding and kind. Patricia seemed sympathetic in the moment, hugging me and saying everything would be okay. But after that night, something shifted. Patricia started making comments to other people. I would hear secondhand from David's aunt or cousin that Patricia had mentioned I was having trouble getting pregnant. She would tell people we had been trying for over a year with no success. She would sigh dramatically and say she was worried I might have fertility issues. None of it was true. We had not been actively trying. One early miscarriage did not mean I was infertile. But Patricia was building a narrative, and I did not realize how deep it went until much later. Over the next several months, the whispers got louder. Family members started asking me gentle questions about whether I had seen a specialist. Friends of the family would give me sympathetic looks and squeeze my hand, saying they were praying for me. I was confused at first. I would tell people we were not even actively trying yet, that there was no problem, but I could see in their faces they did not quite believe me. Someone had told them something different. I finally confronted David about it. I told him I thought his mother was telling people I was infertile. He did not want to believe it. He said I was being paranoid, that his mother would never do something like that. He said people were probably just making assumptions because we had been married for over a year and did not have kids yet. I dropped it because fighting about his mother was exhausting, and I had no concrete proof, just a growing certainty that Patricia was poisoning the well. Then David's sister Jenny pulled me aside at a family barbecue. She looked uncomfortable, but said she needed to tell me something. She said Patricia had been talking to her and other family members about my supposed infertility for months. She was telling people I had multiple miscarriages, that doctors had told me I would probably never carry a pregnancy to term, that I was devastated but trying to hide it. Jenny said she was telling me because it was getting out of hand, and she thought I should know what was being said behind my back. I felt sick. Patricia was not just making casual comments. She was creating an entire false medical history for me. She was making me the tragic figure in a story she was telling everyone, and the worst part was people believed her. Why would they not? She was David's mother. She had no reason to lie. They probably thought she was confiding in them out of concern for her son and daughter-in-law. They had no idea she was manufacturing the whole thing. I told David everything Jenny had said. I begged him to talk to his mother to make her stop. He was finally angry. He confronted Patricia that same night. She denied everything. She said Jenny must have misunderstood, that she had maybe mentioned my one miscarriage to a few close family members because she was worried about me. But she certainly had not spread rumors about infertility. She cried and said she could not believe her own son would accuse her of something so cruel. David came home confused and upset. He said his mother seemed genuinely hurt by the accusation. He did not know what to believe. I knew what to believe, but I also knew confronting Patricia directly was pointless. She would just deny and play the victim, so I decided to document everything. I started keeping notes of every comment she made, every conversation where someone brought up my supposed fertility issues, every time Patricia said something that did not match reality. I was building a case, though I did not yet know what I would do with it. Around this time, David and I decided we were finally ready to try for a baby. We had been married for almost 2 years. Our careers were stable. We felt emotionally and financially prepared. We did not tell anyone we were trying because I did not want Patricia involved in any way. For 3 months, nothing happened. Then in the 4th month, I missed my period. I took a test. It was positive. I took 3 more tests, all positive. I was pregnant. I told David immediately. He was overjoyed. We cried and laughed and made plans, but we agreed not to tell anyone until I was past the 1st trimester. Given my previous early miscarriage, we wanted to wait until things were more stable. We scheduled a doctor's appointment. Everything looked perfect. The baby was healthy and developing right on schedule. My due date was set. Every week that passed, my pregnancy progressed normally. By the time I was 12 weeks, my doctor said everything looked excellent, and I could start telling people if I wanted to. But before we had a chance to make any announcements, Patricia made one of her own. David's father Richard was turning 60, and Patricia had planned a big family party at their house. Everyone was invited, all the aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends. It was the kind of gathering Patricia loved because she got to be the center of attention, playing the perfect hostess. David and I went. Me now about 13 weeks pregnant, but not showing yet in the loose dress I had chosen specifically to hide any hint of my condition. The party was going well at first. People were eating, drinking, celebrating Richard's birthday. I was feeling pretty good despite some lingering nausea. I was excited because David and I had decided we would announce the pregnancy that night, after the birthday cake, in front of all the family. It seemed like perfect timing. Everyone would be together and happy. We could share our joy with all of them at once. But Patricia had other plans. Before we got to the cake, she clinked her glass to get everyone's attention. She said she wanted to make a toast to her wonderful husband, but also to talk about something that had been on her heart. My stomach dropped. I had a terrible feeling about where this was going. She started talking about family, about how important grandchildren were, about how she had always dreamed of being a grandmother. Then she turned to look directly at David and me. She said she knew it had been difficult for us. She said she wanted everyone to know how much she admired my strength in dealing with my infertility. She said the word clearly and loudly, infertility. She said I had been trying so hard to give David a child, that I had been through so much heartbreak, and that she just wanted me to know the whole family supported me no matter what. She said even if I could never give her son children, I was still part of the family and they loved me anyway. The room went completely silent. Everyone was staring at me with pity and sympathy. Some people had tears in their eyes. David's aunt came over and hugged me, whispering that everything would be okay. I stood there frozen, humiliated, and furious. Patricia had just announced to 60 people that I was infertile. She had made it sound like some noble, supportive statement, but it was an execution. She was cementing her lie in front of everyone who mattered, making sure they all believed I was broken and inadequate. David looked shocked and angry. He started to say something, but I grabbed his arm. I had a better idea. If Patricia wanted to make public announcements, I could make one too. I took a deep breath, stood up, and asked for everyone's attention. I thanked Patricia for her concern. Then I said I had some news that might surprise everyone. I said I had been keeping a secret for the past few weeks because I wanted to be sure everything was okay before I shared it. Then I said it clearly and loudly, just like Patricia had said the word infertility. I said I was pregnant, 14 weeks pregnant. Everything was healthy and perfect, and I had the ultrasound pictures in my purse if anyone wanted to see proof. The room erupted. People were gasping, congratulating us, asking questions. David was beaming. His father Richard came over and hugged both of us, clearly thrilled, but everyone else was also confused. They were looking between me and Patricia, trying to understand how I could be pregnant if I was infertile. Patricia's face had gone completely white. She stood there with her mouth slightly open, unable to speak. For the first time since I had known her, she had no words. David's sister Jenny started laughing. Not mean laughter, but the kind of laughter that comes from relief and vindication. She said loudly enough for everyone to hear that maybe everyone had been getting wrong information. Several family members turned to look at Patricia. David's aunt asked Patricia directly where she had gotten the idea that I was infertile. Patricia stammered something about misunderstandings and assumptions, but people were not stupid. They could do the math. If I was 14 weeks pregnant, I had gotten pregnant months ago, long before tonight, which meant Patricia's big announcement about my infertility was completely false. David stepped in. He was angry in a way I had never seen before. He said his mother had been spreading lies about me for over a year. He said she had told people I had multiple miscarriages and would never be able to have children, none of which was true. He said she had been building this narrative to make me look inadequate and to make herself look like a martyr dealing with a daughter-in-law who could not give her grandchildren. He said it stopped now, tonight, and she owed me an apology in front of everyone she had lied to. Patricia tried to deny it. She said she had been misunderstood, that she never said I was infertile, just that we were having trouble. But Jenny spoke up. She told everyone that Patricia had explicitly told her, and others that doctors had said I would probably never carry a pregnancy to term. Other family members started speaking up too. David's cousin said Patricia had told her the same thing. An aunt said Patricia had asked for prayers for my infertility at her church group. The evidence piled up. Patricia could not deny it anymore. Patricia started crying, but they were not tears of remorse. They were tears of anger and embarrassment at being caught. She said she had only been trying to help, that she thought if the family knew we were struggling, they could support us. David said that would have been fine if it were true, but she had invented a medical condition I did not have and spread it to dozens of people without my consent. He said that was not help, it was manipulation and cruelty. Richard, David's father, was furious with his wife. He pulled her aside and they had a heated whispered conversation that everyone pretended not to watch. When they came back, Richard made Patricia apologize to me in front of everyone. It was the most insincere apology I had ever heard. She said she was sorry if I felt hurt by anything she had said. Not sorry for what she did, but sorry if I felt hurt. It was a non-apology and everyone knew it. The party ended shortly after that. People did not know how to act. They congratulated David and me on the pregnancy, but the celebration felt hollow after the confrontation. We left early. On the drive home, David kept apologizing. He said he should have believed me from the beginning, that he should have shut his mother down the first time she made inappropriate comments. He said he was ashamed it took this long for him to see what she was doing. I told him I forgave him, but things had to change. His mother could not have unlimited access to our lives anymore. She had proven she could not be trusted. Over the next few weeks, the fallout continued. Several family members reached out to apologize for believing Patricia's lies. They said they should have asked me directly instead of assuming she was telling the truth. Some people were angry with Patricia for putting them in an awkward position. Others tried to defend her, saying she was just worried and made a mistake. But most people could see it for what it was, a calculated campaign to undermine me and control the narrative about our lives. David set boundaries with his mother for the first time in his life. He told her she was not welcome in our home unless invited. He told her she would not be in the delivery room when I gave birth. He told her if she ever spread lies about me or our family again, she would not have access to her grandchild. Patricia was shocked and hurt. She tried to guilt-trip him, saying he was choosing his wife over his mother. He said yes, he was choosing his wife because that was what marriage meant, and his mother had given him no choice. Patricia did not take it well. She went on a campaign of her own, telling extended family that I had turned her son against her, that I was keeping her away from her grandchild, that she was the real victim. But this time, people did not believe her as easily. Too many of them had witnessed what happened at the birthday party. Too many of them had heard her lies firsthand. Her credibility was destroyed. My pregnancy continued smoothly. David and I took birthing classes, set up the nursery, and prepared to become parents. Patricia tried multiple times to reconcile, but her attempts always came with conditions and blame. She would say she was sorry, but then add that I had overreacted, or that David was being too harsh, or that this would not have happened if I had just been more open with the family about our plans. She could never take full responsibility for what she had done. When our daughter Lily was born, it was the most beautiful day of my life. David was an amazing partner through labor and delivery. My parents came to the hospital and were wonderful. David's father, Richard, came alone and met his granddaughter with tears of joy. Patricia was not there. David had told her she could meet the baby after we got home and settled, but she was not invited to the hospital. She was furious, but there was nothing she could do. The first few months of Lily's life were exhausting but magical. We were learning to be parents, figuring everything out as we went. Patricia would call and text constantly, asking for pictures, asking when she could visit, complaining that she was being kept from her grandchild. David would set up supervised visits at our home, never leaving me alone with her. Patricia would hold Lily and smile, but there was always tension underneath. She could not forgive us for embarrassing her. She could not accept that her actions had consequences. About 6 months after Lily was born, Patricia made one last attempt to regain control. She told David's father that she was being unfairly excluded, that I was poison turning David against his own mother, and that she deserved to have unsupervised time with her granddaughter. Richard, to his credit, told her no. He said she had brought this situation on herself, and until she could genuinely apologize and accept responsibility, things would not change. She accused him of siding against her. He said he was siding with reality. Today, 2 years later, our relationship with Patricia remains distant but civil. She sees Lily at family gatherings and supervised visits. She is polite but cold. She has never given me a real apology. She still believes she was in the right, and we overreacted. But the important thing is she no longer has power over our lives. She cannot spread lies because people do not believe her anymore. She cannot manipulate David because he finally sees her clearly. She cannot hurt me because I no longer care about her approval. The experience taught me something important about toxic people, especially toxic family members. They rely on silence and isolation to maintain their power. Patricia's lies worked as long as I did not speak up, as long as people did not compare notes, as long as she could control the narrative. The moment I publicly revealed the truth, her power crumbled. She was exposed not just as a liar, but as someone willing to hurt her own family to feed her need for control and attention. My mother-in-law told everyone I was infertile. She spent over a year building that lie, spreading it to dozens of people, using it to make me look inadequate and herself look like a suffering saint. She did it to hurt me, to control David, and to satisfy her own twisted need to be the center of every story. But she made one critical mistake. She announced her biggest lie at a party where I was 3 months pregnant, giving me the perfect opportunity to destroy her narrative in front of everyone who mattered. I did not plan it that way. I did not know she was going to make that announcement that night. But when she did, I refused to let her lies stand. I refused to be silent while she humiliated me. I stood up, told the truth, and watched her credibility shatter in real time. It was not revenge in the traditional sense. It was simply truth meeting lies and winning. If you are dealing with a toxic family member who spreads lies about you, please know this. Your silence protects them, not you. Speaking up is terrifying, especially when the person lying is someone others trust and respect. But lies cannot survive in the light. The truth is your most powerful weapon. Use it. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not hope they will change. Speak your truth clearly. Back it up with evidence when possible, and let the chips fall where they may. My mother-in-law tried to destroy my reputation, my marriage, and my place in the family. She failed, not because I fought dirty, but because I told the truth. And in the end, truth is always stronger than lies, no matter how many people believe them at first.